everyone. I am Ayana Glover, the Laptop Life Coach. So I am the founder and CEO, like I mentioned, of the Laptop Life Coach. I believe that there is an active war on childhood innocence right now. In 2023, there were over 13,000 reports on Roblox of child exploitation on the platform. Our children are not safe even in their homes. Back in the day, parents believed that as long as you were in the house, you were safe because the threat was outside. Now, because of gaming systems, Roblox and Minecraft, the threat is inside. And as a big sister, it is my responsibility and my duty to fight back in this war. So, the Laptop Life Coach is a business, but it's also it's my way of fighting back in this crisis to help keep our next generation safe. So, how do I do that? I primarily do that through virtual gaming clubs where we play in private servers. That means it's just me and my students. I also teach them real life lessons like public speaking through the games as well, through Roblox and Minecraft. Just like electricity can be used to electrocute people, it can also be used to power our homes and keep us warm. It's just about teaching them how to do these things, not being scared, but being prepared. So I have 6-week courses. I also, because literacy is important, and I think children need to learn that they can be more than other people's entertainment, like sports people and singers. Even though I'm an artist as well, I do art, but I also have books. These are activity books, an animated series. This book goes with the animated series as well, and I have self-paced options that also teach public speaking, leadership skills. So I've literally created an entire ecosystem to help the next generation of leaders not only be safe online, but also build their digital citizenship so that they can work on social skills, leadership skills, public speaking in a safe, secure space. So my biggest challenge right now, even though I've worked with children across the world at this point, I have students in Australia and in Korea as well as all over the United States, is getting into the doors and communities that actually need me as well, like those homeschooling places, the school systems, the after-school programs. It's very hard to get in contact with them. And we're already too late because 13,000 children's lives and counting have already been impacted as of 2023. So what I've tried so far, cold calling, cold outreach, that doesn't work anymore. There's too many scams out there. People are not replying. I've also started building a social media presence, and when I was creating this, I was planning a virtual session for parents, but I have launched that. The first one is going to be on May 19th, teaching parents about safety online, because again, we want our children to be prepared, not scared. You don't turn off the electricity in your house because it can electrocute people, but we do teach our children how to use it properly so that they don't get hurt. Warm introductions really go a long way. I have a connect now at Anne Arundel Public School Systems because of a warm connection. And also showing up in the community, having these conversations. Because a lot of times, because back in the day, if you were in your house, you were safe, parents don't even understand that there could be a predator talking to your child and you will never know until they're knocking at the door trying to abduct your child. You can look it up, it actually happens on a regular basis, unfortunately. So some lessons that I've learned, of course, community works. People want to keep the children safe, and we all see their social skills are a little bit lacking right now. Confidence, public speaking, all of those things, they need someone in their corner, and that's where I come into play, and I can also pass these books around. I also learned that I can't be everywhere at once. As much as I would like to be everywhere at once, it's just not logically possible. So I would like to at some point create a certification program so that there could be trusted adults in these spaces that understand the curriculum so that they can teach them the public speaking skills through gaming. I also have self-paced options as well, but those are some things I'm looking at. So today, community, what I am asking you is, if you were me, where would you start to build those relationships and trust with the school systems and those larger communities that are already established but may not fully understand the real danger, the impact, and also understand that you can build real skills? Again, we don't turn off the electricity because it can electrocute someone, but we do teach the youth how to use these spaces so that they can be prepared, not scared. So again, my name is Ayana Glover. I am the Laptop Life Coach, and I am looking to fight this war on childhood innocence We are already a little bit too late in some regards because 13,000 and counting children's lives have already been impacted. So every day that we don't act is a day that a child could be at risk. So I live on LinkedIn. They will tell you I'm always on LinkedIn, so if you want to get in contact with me that way, it's great. And then if you want to email me or anything like that, I take the big sister approach. And so yeah, so that is what I'm here to get to answer. That's my question. Also, I have my workbooks that I can pass around if anybody wants to take a look. And then I also have this course. I'm dyslexic, so the first thing says weeks instead of week, but I did fix that. This is the prototype. Alrighty, so that's it.
Great. 20 seconds to spare. Awesome job. All right, would you advance to the next slide for us really quick? Or that one. All right, so especially for you new folks, we do our Q&A in three distinct phases. The first one is clarifying questions. If you have questions about the business model, something that you're unclear about, we take about 7 minutes to do those questions. The second phase is insights and feedback. So if you have comments or insights or ideas or whatnot, save that for the second phase. Let us get through the clarifying questions first. And then the third phase is if you have somebody you can introduce her to or otherwise help her answer the question she just had on the screen, that's what we're going to do in the third phase. So with that, let's, any clarifying questions, we'll take 7 minutes to do that.
Who pays for this?
The parents. At least for right now, but when I work with institutions and things.
And is it a subscription model or okay?
So it can be subscription or they can pay week by week. It's through a platform called OutSchool, and so that's basically a virtual marketplace where anybody can post a class, a live session. So that's where I post them. So you can pay for one class, you can buy a subscription where you pay monthly, or you can do week by week. It really just depends on the parent's preference.
How have you gotten your students so far?
So far, they've come through the marketplace platform on OutSchool, and I've even started seeing they're using my classes in their ads now on Instagram because of my metrics are pretty high on the platform. They're using my videos for my classes as their advertisements as well. So OutSchool really does a big push, but now that I'm in the community, I'm working with Anne Arundel Public Schools to do some programming with them. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to bring my own clientele in as well so that they can do some of the workbooks and things that are not on OutSchool. So 7 to 11 typically, but I do go as low as 6. And then I've had students that are autistic and things that are as old as 13. But I like that 7 to 11 age range because they're young enough to still want to be like, oh, let's play Coachiana, but they're also old enough to have intelligent deep dive conversations.
Do you have playbooks as well?
Playbooks?
Yeah, the one like you click on something and you're gonna hear what is written for under maybe 5 or under 4 years old.
So I don't have that, but the workbooks are in the digital books. They are in a digital format, and I do have on the membership where I actually read the books for them, and then they have a digital copy that they can update as well. So in a way, yes, but not in that particular way yet.
So they're still able to play like the Roblox and Minecraft games, but there's like some education structure built into it.
Yes, so there's 2 different avenues in that regard. So the virtual gaming clubs are basically confidence coaching sessions maxed as gaming clubs. So it's just me and the students in private servers. And then the 6-week courses, I'm actually teaching them real lessons in public speaking and leadership skills. So for example, the first week in the public speaking skills, we're discussing every presentation has a beginning, middle, and end. So we play in one of the games is called Dress to Impress. And so instead of presenting their outfit like they normally would and just go on stage and talk about it, they're presenting using that format that they just learned in the presentation. So sometimes, if someone's talking for a long time, children kind of glaze over because it's like, okay, that's a little bit boring. So after we do the presentation part, and it's still fun because I allow them to draw on screen, there's a lot of interaction in that, then we apply it in the game system so that they're still playing their favorite games, but now they're applying the lesson that they learned, and I only teach them one skill each week. So yes, they're learning real skills, and they're still getting to play their video games in a private server, so they're not also being hunted at the same time. Any other questions?
So, I have a question. So this is sort of a service play on sort of the educational toy model where you have the customer is the parent, the user is the child, right?
Correct.
How would you articulate the value propositions for both the parent and the child, and just sort of like your marketing and how you sell this?
Yeah, so for the parents, it's that safety aspect, and also the social skills of our children are lacking a little bit right now. So I create small spaces because I don't take any more than 7 students in any game club and no more than 5 in actual course. So they're getting to practice those social skills in a safe place because it's virtual for the most part. And then they are building their confidence, they're building their public speaking skills, they're building their leadership skills through fun and play. So they actually enjoy coming to class. Before we even get started, I always ask them, is there anything exciting that happened to you this week that you want to share? Sometimes they have a laundry list, and sometimes they even have sad things that they want to share, but they feel safe enough to share that in the environment. Also with one particular student who is really on the spectrum to the point where you can hear it in his voice. When he first joined me, this was when I was trying Zumba, because I tried a lot of different things before I got to gaming clubs, and my mom actually is the one who suggested doing the gaming aspect. So when I first started in Zumba, he joined me for one class, I switched over to gaming, and I was like, oh, you're back, and so he started typing in the chat every once in a while, in the Zoom chat, not in the Roblox chat. And then one day, it was during summer, and this was when I was still fresh starting out, so it was just he and I. And I heard a little voice, hi, Coach Yana. I was like, hi, like, what's happening here? And from that day forward, it doesn't matter who he's in the class with. He used to take 2 minutes to form one sentence because of his processing. Now he'll come and tell me, oh, because he mimics me too. He'll be like, oh, honey, I don't know how you beat me, honey. And he'll just go on. And sometimes he goes to other classes and he comes back. He'll bring a friend or two. He's like, Coach Yana, I didn't know my best friend was in this class. And I was like, well, I didn't know either, just now. So once I saw him specifically and that growth, I realized that I actually had something. And that was before the courses. That was just a weekly gaming club. So the parents are seeing changes that I don't even fully know about. And it has a ripple effect because we've created a safe space. They defend each other. They don't overstep the boundaries. So they know no matter who they are, whatever their learning challenges. I'm dyslexic, so I can relate. No matter what those challenges might be, there is a safe space for them where everyone feels safe, seen, and heard. So regardless if it takes 2 minutes to formulate a sentence, and now I can tell you it doesn't take that long, but there's a space where he still had the grace. The children didn't interrupt him in that period, and now he's the one who's the most talkative. So all that to say, there are things that I can point to directly with real examples, and also the parents are seeing that as well, and it's safe, so.
All right, great. We're at 7 minutes. Can we build it into insights and feedback? All right, can you advance to the second phase? Yeah, all right, 10 minutes. So insights and feedback. I have a follow-on question, but I want to let y'all ask your questions first. So anything, insights, feedback, anything you observed, this is the time for that.
So I'm a parent, my kids are probably right at a little bit older than your target demographic, but I think when you sold this, like, there's a war on children, like, really hard. And as a parent, I feel like, right, we're always, like, all I do is worry. Mm-hmm. So when you said, like, I'm doing all of this and it's safe, like, focusing on, like, the world is a scary place, but this is, like, having the scary part and the safe part in your messaging, I think is really important and, like, positive, right? Because Immediately I was like, oh my god, it's so scary, and I don't know what I'm gonna, right? Now you lost me in that, because then I went down my own black hole of like parenting stress. So yeah, and then I guess my other feedback is I got a little bit lost with, you're doing a lot of things, and I think in the messaging I got lost in what it was until you were just talking about your out school and like the safe space where it's not just safe on the internet, but it's like a psychologically safe place. Right, because you were talking about leadership skills and then all of these kind of things, and I will just admit I got a little lost on the target, because you're doing so much.
Yeah, I think just to pile on what sort of putting on my marketing hat on, generally it's because you are your brand, it's audience, offer, positioning. And so I think you just want to be clear on who it is that you're targeting, because it's not necessarily all parents, right? Or do you think it's all parents?
Well, in a way, it is all parents that have children between the ages of 7 and 11, because I have shy children. I also have rambunctious children who are loud.
I just mean, are you able to serve all parents?
And
Like
can you
practically,
clarify?
yeah, practically I don't think you can serve all parents, and so I think thinking about like a specific avatar of an audience or a target would be helpful. I think in terms of your offer, like explaining a little bit of the how it works, and then positioning. So like what are some outcomes that they can expect after working with you? Because authority is really huge when you're your own brand. So they want to know that you've worked with other people. They want to know the kind of results that you've gotten, that you're able to achieve.
Okay. And I do have 45 5-star reviews, so that can speak to it, but I do hear what you're saying as well, being more clear on the specific parent. My challenge is because my students vary so much in personality type, it's like, and I like to call it squirrel syndrome. Because I do a lot of things, it's trying to figure out which parent needs it the most, because they all are benefiting from it. So that's something I can work towards.
So to kind of piggyback on what Monisha was saying, I was kind of thinking the same way. If the client is the parent, then maybe it is useful to have that discovery to drill down, think about that parent, what their challenges are, what their struggles are, and how they parent. So for instance, it could be a single parent, right? Their needs would be different than other family structures. So then even your messaging could speak to that particular parent so they could say, yes, I see the benefit of my child participating. So in terms of age and content, maybe you can serve every child and every parent, but if you think about what the needs are, I think they would then identify where they fit in your community, if that makes sense.
So one, my daughter's still gonna sign up, so. But we went yesterday to, we live in Calhoun County, North Beach, or Chesapeake Beach, North Beach, and everybody's been there before. But we have a brand new library, really nice, and last night they had tween night for kids, and they had Nintendo rep there. I think that might be another spot for marketing for you, because you already had parents bring them to game night, so they had regular board games, they had Nintendo Switches, they had all this, but I could definitely see you in there with a group of kids with Roblox or whatever else, so that might be another marketing avenue, and I'm assuming maybe other libraries do the same thing, but it was called Tween Night, so exactly your market, to market to.
Okay. Farron, and then you, and then.
Okay. So I don't have any kids, right? But when you keep talking about, was it a private server? I don't even know what that means, and I don't know if other people with kids would know what that means either. The difference between a private server and a public server, or whatever other kind of servers there are, right? So that it might be helpful if you can explain that, because every time you say private server, I'm just like, well, so is it the game or where are they playing it? So.
Yeah, and that's a good point, and so that's why I'm doing the parent seminars as well. And then now that I'm starting the marketing angle, now I'll put that out. But my first one will be on May 19th, because you're right, parents don't even know that Roblox isn't a game. They think that, oh, my child plays Roblox, but they don't realize that Roblox consists of hundreds of games, that you could make a game. Anybody in here could make a game and put it on Roblox. So there is a very huge education gap, and so that is one of the things that I'm working on starting on May 19th. So great point.
So when I saw laptop life coach, I thought you were a life coach.
Yeah.
And I was like, and then you start talking about people like, oh, and I had to switch my brain. I'm like, so what are we talking about? So I'm wondering if there is, and what your experience has been about people going, oh, so you work with kids.
Well, actually, it's been the opposite for the most part, and they're like, oh, so you're a children's life coach, and I'm like,
when does that show up? Because literally I looked at it and was like, oh, I'm thinking as an executive coach, I'm thinking that you're working with adults. And so I'm wondering if there is, and it might be a great in for you to go in and say, no, actually what I do is, versus an immediate linkage. So you were talking about how do I find the institutional and other parts. So that was my first thought. My second thought is, and just based on this conversation about private servers and there's multiples of games, and I do have somebody I'd like to introduce you to, but it is both the social skills development, but from a workforce development opportunity, how are you integrating workforce knowing that we're asking that the entire world is going to start shifting? I don't want to go to the AI thing, but how we think and how we take in information, how we modify information, how we build, that you're actually helping kids become producers, not just consumers of content and stuff. So those are two things. So the life coach, it made me, I had to stop and like, what are you talking about? And then go, okay, you're talking about helping kids. And then what's the trajectory of what you're helping them build beyond life skills
all right, so the first part I think I answered briefly, and of course as I continue to build my marketing, this part is still fairly new, so I'll be able to display that more. And social skills I feel like is a huge part of being able to work in the workforce. Being able to handle criticism and critiques is something that's huge. Being able to talk to people, articulate your ideas, have critical thinking skills, have the confidence to articulate, have the ability to process your thoughts, to even formulate them into full thoughts and full comprehensive sentences and things is something that we practice. And so they'll naturally acquire those skills more as they continue to grow. My hope and my desire is for the students that work with me to be way pavers for the future, to be those ones that stand out, that are able to share their ideas, that are able to stand up here and present, that are able to take the things. I used to get bullied at school because I talk too much, but now I teach children how to speak. So being able to recognize that everybody sees your gift from their own lens. If someone is a hypercritical person, they're going to see your gift as something that you need to tone down. If there's someone that's super positive, they're going to see your gift as something that you need to experience and express more. So I want to teach my children that whoever you are naturally is enough, but now let's bridge that out so that way when you do get into the workforce, you're not crying in the corner because your boss told you I didn't like the way you did this or I didn't like that. So establishing these skills now will allow them when they get into the workforce to say, hi, how are you doing if they're the cash register person, rather than looking down and not making eye contact with their customers. We're right here and right there.
Oh, I was just gonna say, in terms of like the marketing, one of the things I was thinking about is, I feel like you should maybe try to get in touch with like parent organizations. So like you had mentioned you're in touch with like a school organization, so maybe trying to find out when they have PTO meetings and figuring out a way to get into those. Another thing would be like HOA meetings. I don't know if your own personal neighborhood or if you knew somebody nearby. Obviously HOA meetings have people who are raising families, and that might be a good space to market.
I haven't even thought about that, but thank you.
Yeah, actually, I was going to mention PTAs too, because school systems have prescribed curriculum, and it's going to be really hard to break that egg. But the parent-teacher associations, which are some of them are super active, you could go into their meetings and you could just talk about it, and they can advocate for you if they really like your product. The other avenue that I thought about is the multilingual ELD community, because they invest a lot into bringing their kids up to speed with English and with communicating and with integrating. So through the same PTO, PTA, you could do outreach to the Hispanic community or the Arabic community, the non-native English-speaking community, who might just find that the benefit is not only confidence building and communication, but also language building.
That's a great point.
So we're almost out of time.
You talked about summer camps, and I was curious about that kind of in-person versus virtual.
Yeah, so I primarily do virtual just because that's where the children feel the safest, and I can interact with children from different spaces. So like this year, I'm going to be doing a theater camp using the virtual game. I'm going to be doing a princess dress up class camp because everybody likes to dress up, and then just a regular gameplay. But yeah, I am venturing into the in-person spaces as well, but virtual has been like my staple, and in the name Laptop Life Coach, so that's where I specialize, but I am able to come in person, and I'm working on doing that as well, having some programs that are a little bit longer and summer as well.
I wanted to know, how would you say that the impact of gaming on the private server, how the children respond to that from coming over from almost gaming exclusively on a global server? How would you say that there's a difference in a measurable way?
Well, I would like to say it's actually a good thing, because when I first started, I was letting them play in the public, just monitoring them. They were getting arguments with people, because my students, they're like sisters and brothers in clubs, so they don't like if someone comes in and, and you can't really control what the outside world says. So someone on the outside might say something. Roblox, they do monitor it, so it's only going to be so much. But they would like gang up on people and like report them as a unit, which if you're bullying one of my students, I can't tell them not to defend each other, because that's the whole point of building confidence. But since we've transitioned into solely private servers, now we just get to play and they just get to be children. And because we're on Zoom as well, they get to build their best friendships. They get to talk to each other. They get to farm for points. If you don't know what that means voting everybody 5 stars so everybody gets points and things. So it makes it more of a family space, and we're the only ones playing. So they can say, oh my gosh, guess what happened to me today? And we don't have to worry about some person on the outside, doing something nefarious. So it actually made it a lot safer and closer, and I'm noticing that their bonds are growing a lot more because it's just us. So great question.
Yeah, so I'm gonna couple parting thoughts, because I'm of the first generation of gamers and never really stopped because I have 4 kids and I understand those environments. I think you're missing an opportunity on the value proposition side. You're clearly articulating the fear of predators, which is real and ever present. But in this generation, and you touched on it a little bit, these, more as we go along and students are digital natives, they interact more with their devices than they do with each other and with us. And we see the communication skills start to suffer. And the communication skills they are using are ones they're learning in some of these public environments, and they are toxic. People suck. And to me, that is as much of a danger, that is more persistent even than the predators, that I think is a value proposition that's pretty strong for the parents. Like, do you want them learning their social skills in that toxic public environment, etc.? I would consider, and based on your feedback, I would consider using the words protected environment rather than private server, because it's more abstract and it communicates what it is without being very specific from an implementation standpoint. All right, so I'm gonna shut up now because we need to get to the next phase. Offers and connections. People you can introduce Ayana to, or otherwise help her get to this audience and overcome some of these challenges that she's having.
So look up Community Foundation. It's spelled with an X, CXMMUNITY Foundation. We can talk afterwards. That's what they are literally built to do.
No one else has any children in here?
Too young to
I'm a part of a group, PG STEM Hub, that is supported by DoD STEM. And it's a group of educators. I'm like the only entrepreneur, well, I shouldn't say. But I really focus on entrepreneurship in that group. And I'm wondering if that might not be a good connection for you, right? Because it's Tacoma Academy, the principal's there. We have people from Prince George's County Public Schools. One of our organizing team members is the director of STEM for Prince George's County. And so, yeah, I'll make that connection.
So this is not so much an offer as a suggestion. Have you considered using Nextdoor as a distribution mechanism? Because you have lots of parents and very geographically specific neighborhoods that you could target. So that's one, especially if you have your messaging tight, I think that may be a way to, at least in the early stages, source some business.
I haven't, but I shall.
Malcolm, what is your
I
offer?
will just say as a parent that like,
I'll do that.
videos on Instagram, right? Like I follow several different parenting folks, and so like even like it would be really easy for you to get on there and give like safety tips for how to keep your kids, right? Like that would draw people into what you're doing. Are you already? You're not. You said you were starting that. Right?
Yeah, I'm just starting the marketing. So I'm gonna use all this, put it in a bag and keep it going. Because I do so much. It's like, okay, where are the gaps in understanding? Where's the, I need to focus on a specific person or parent or something. So this is like, you guys called me like right as okay, it's time to start marketing this because I know it works. I know I make a difference. Now how do I get this message out there? So I will do all the things that you guys are suggesting, or at least most of it. Alrighty.
Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll take care.